What's up, everybody? Today's video is about ME crashes, and I've been asked a lot on the channel what I do during those crashes and how I take care of myself and what my protocol is. And I'm sure that varies from person to person. But for me, I'm going to list 10 things that I do almost every time that I go through a ME crash. So number one might be the most obvious one, but it is overlooked at times, and that is rest. Stop everything that you're doing. Some people cannot do that, but you have to rest as much as you can. I like to try to rest as much as I can without sleeping, so it doesn't ruin my sleep cycle. A lot of us already have insomnia. I try to keep that cycle as consistent as I can. So rest, and rest. Number two is I disconnect mentally. Might be the most challenging one, but all of us have a lot of stress, have a lot of problems, just like anybody else. And I try to disconnect as much as possible from all of those problems. I tend to want to help everyone that I'm close with, friends, family, but when I'm flaring up, I kindly let these people know that I'm just not available mentally, emotionally, or physically. That was a tough one to learn how to do. It's still the hardest on me. I don't like letting people down that I care about, especially when they need me. But I've learned to put myself first and just tell them I can't help. Mental stressors are just as damaging as physical ones, as for people with ME and CFS, in my opinion, especially during a flare. I think a lot of stress, emotional stress, wears you down a lot. And if you're right on the edge of a crash, I think that it's very important to disconnect and manage your mental and emotional stress by removing yourself from everything that you can afford to remove yourself from. Obviously, if you have kids and all these type of responsibilities, you can't really disconnect from that. But the things that you can disconnect from, make a conscious effort to do that. Number three is I minimize the use of electronics. I try to not be on the phone, stay away from blue light as much as I can. I'm off the computer. Anything that is overstimulating, I just basically, I almost treat a crash like a migraine. If anyone who's had a bad migraine out there, you kind of just isolate yourself from the world and light and sound and all these things. But I do watch TV. I binge watch a lot of stuff during crashes. That's the one electronic I stay using, but everything else I just try to disconnect. And this also ties into disconnecting mentally. I just stop reading texts. I put my phone on do not disturb. The only people that can get through to me are my immediate family members if they need something, but everybody else I kind of just disconnect from. And I find that does help. Number four, might sound silly, but lots and lots of water. I think a lot of people with ME and CFS, from what I've read, have low blood volume. Don't know why, can't explain that. Talk to your doctor about that, but I find that drinking water does help with energy levels. So I just start drinking a lot of water and rest and do all the other things I've previously mentioned. Number five, I do a salt bath. A salt bath for 20 minutes. I have a video on Epsom salt baths and how they've helped, but helps with the muscle aches and the muscle pain and the stiffness, the joint pain and those things. So I'm basically treating the symptoms as much as I can. And that's one of my main symptoms is I get pretty achy during a crash, along with the fatigue and the brain fog. And I'll probably make another video about what a crash is like for ME and CFS. That would probably have been better if I did that first, but I'll do one after this video here. Number six, I eat extra clean. I already eat clean. My diet is clean. Since having ME and CFS, I've cleaned my diet up over the years a lot. But when I'm in a flare, I go extreme. No carbs, no sugar, anything inflammatory, I try not to eat, and I go super clean. Vegetables, some fruit, lean meats, and no processed, no junk food, nothing like that. just to kind of get my body a fighting chance to feel better. So I find that I'll do that as much as I can. Number 7. This is a tough one because it's a luxury, really. And not a lot of us have the ability to do this. With COVID, this has also gotten a little more difficult, but massages. As much as I can, when I'm in the middle or beginning of a flare, I try to have a masseuse just get the blood flowing. And it's not too intense of a massage. It's nothing, it's not like a super deep tissue massage, but it's more of a gentle massage to get the blood flowing, get the blood circulating, and get the soreness out, the tightness out. I find that helps a lot. And none of these are in any particular order, which I should have mentioned. But this is a very important tool that I use when I can. That can become very expensive, so it's not something that I can do all the time, but I find that it's helped tremendously. Haven't really been able to do that as much with COVID and the last year with all the lockdowns, and even now I think some places are hesitant to see a lot of people. Number 8, I think that this one is also kind of simple and obvious, but fresh air and sunlight. If you live in an area where it's warm, get out there, get some vitamin D, get some fresh air. Obviously, if you're not severely bedridden, get out there as much as you can. And I find that it does help to get some fresh air and some vitamin D, some sunlight. All these things added up, I have found have helped me a lot. It sounds silly, but sometimes when we're not feeling well, we kind of stay inside, and I think it goes a long way to get some fresh air as much as you can. Number 9, this kind of spills into number 10. Track your baseline. And what I mean by that is know where your limit is. Use a heart rate monitor to stay below that. And this actually helps avoid crashes by not overdoing it. But if you are in the middle of a crash, it's important to track your baseline and try to stay below it. Don't get up close to it. Stay below it. Rest as much as you can. Go as easy as you can on your body. So get an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or any type of heart rate monitor to kind of keep track. And it is a good snapshot of how you're feeling. Sometimes, walking up the street and back may raise your heart rate to 90. During a flare, it might be 110, 115, 120. That's a good indicator that you probably shouldn't try that walk again. Go home, sit down, and rest, or don't overdo it. So wearables and tracking is very important. So number 10 is find a good wearable that works for you, a good heart rate monitor that can keep track and notify you, or at the very least, you can just check it and know where you're at. I think this is a very important tool to know what your body is doing while in a flare, before a flare, and you start to learn what certain tasks cost you, so to speak. How high you start to learn, like, oh, doing this causes my heart rate to go up this much. I'm gonna have to take it easy or go extra slow. And this varies. It might be laundry for one person. It might be getting up to take a shower for another. I understand that ME ranges a lot. So it's very important to know your baseline, and it's also very important to track what your baseline is and to stay below those numbers, especially during a crash. Avoid that task if you can. Things that get close to your baseline. So for me personally, I know what things are going to get me close to that baseline. So during a crash, I'm like, there's no way I'm even going to attempt that. I kind of tune everybody out, tune everything out, and just focus on myself until I can get better and get out of the crash. For everyone who's watching this with ME out there, please drop in the comment sections what you do during a crash, what has helped you, something that I may have missed or something that works for you. I'm curious to see what works for you guys, and I know everyone appreciates lots of comments in the comment section, because they can kind of go there and ask questions and use it use the comments as a reference. So please like, subscribe if you like the content. If you have any ideas or suggestions of videos that you want to see as far as topics are concerned, let me know. I'm always open to doing new topics and new videos on things that people want to see. So I hope everyone's doing well and taking care of themselves. Until next time, take care.